Zara stood in the corner of the playground, watching the other kids laugh and play. She always felt out of place. Her green skin, forearms, and strange markings made her different from the other aliens. Every time she tried to join in, they just laughed at her. "Look at Zara! She looks like a freak," one of the girls shouted. Zara's heart sank. She had heard this many times before. The kids always made fun of her because she wasn't like them. She was alone in a world full of people who didn't understand her. Zara tried to stay strong. She smiled and said, "I'm different, but that's okay." But deep down, the words didn't help. She was tired of being called names and pushed around. She wanted to fit in. She wanted to have friends. But no matter how hard she tried, it seemed impossible. One day, Zara decided to stand up for herself. A group of boys was laughing at her, calling her an alien monster. Normally, she would have walked away, trying to ignore them. But today, she was tired of running. She took a deep breath and faced them. "Stop calling me that," Zara said, her voice shaking but loud enough for them to hear. The boys just stared at her and then burst out laughing. "You think you can stop us?" one of them sneered. He shoved Zara, and she stumbled back. Her heart raced, and her fists clenched. But she didn't back down. "I'm not afraid of you," Zara said quietly, even though she was scared inside. But before she could say more, a teacher appeared, and the boys quickly ran away. Zara was left standing alone once again, feeling like an outsider in her own world. She didn't know how long she could keep fighting. Zara sat alone in the school cafeteria, picking at her food. Her mind wasn't on the lunch in front of her. Instead, she thought about her father. He was different from the others. He was human. She had always loved her father. He was kind and patient, always showing her love and care. He taught her many things: how to play simple games, how to laugh at the little things in life, and how to be brave. But Zara knew that if anyone found out who her father was, it would only make things worse for her. Humans were seen as weak in her world, nothing like the strong aliens around her. Sometimes Zara wondered if the bullies would leave her alone if they knew the truth. If they knew that she wasn't fully like them. But she feared the opposite. She feared they would make fun of her even more, calling her human girl or worse. One day, as Zara sat in class, she overheard two students talking. "I heard Zara's dad is different," one said. "They say he's not like us." Zara froze. Her heart raced in her chest. She quickly looked down, hoping no one would see her reaction. "Really?" the other student whispered. "But I thought her family was just like everyone else." Zara tried to ignore them, but the whispers were getting louder. What if they figured it out? What if her secret was no longer safe? She remembered how her father had always told her, "Be proud of who you are, Zara. You are strong, no matter what anyone says." But Zara wasn't sure if she was strong enough to face the truth. If the other kids learned about her father, she didn't know if she could survive the shame and teasing that would come. Zara sighed. She couldn't hide her secret forever, but she wasn't ready for the world to know. The days seemed to drag on for Zara. The bullying was getting worse. Every step she took, someone was there to make fun of her. At first, it was just words, harsh whispers, laughing behind her back. But now, it had become something more. The other kids would push her, trip her, or make her the target of their cruel jokes. Zara had always tried to ignore it. She told herself, "They don't know me. They don't understand." But today was different. As she walked across the playground, a group of boys blocked her way. "Hey, Zara! What's wrong? You look like you're lost," one of the boys sneered. He was tall and had always been one of the worst bullies. Zara stopped. Her heart was pounding in her chest. She had tried to be brave before, but today, she was tired of pretending nothing was wrong. She opened her mouth to speak, but the boy pushed her hard, making her fall to the ground. "Get up, freak!" he yelled, laughing. Zara's face burned with humiliation. She wanted to run away, to hide, but something inside her snapped. She couldn't take it anymore. Slowly, she stood up. Her eyes were filled with anger, but she wasn't sure if it was the anger from being pushed or the pain from always being treated this way. "Leave me alone," Zara said, her voice shaking with both fear and strength. The other kids were laughing, but this time, it didn't feel the same. Zara knew that if she didn't stand up for herself now, they would keep pushing her forever. One of the other boys stepped forward. "Oh, look at Zara, trying to act tough," he mocked. Zara's hands clenched into fists. She had had enough. "Stop it!" she yelled. But instead of backing off, the boys laughed even harder. Zara's heart raced, and she felt more alone than ever. The next day, Zara sat in the school courtyard, trying to calm her racing heart. The fight with the bullies was still fresh in her mind. She had never felt more alone. No matter how hard she tried to fit in, the teasing never stopped. As she sat there, a voice broke through her thoughts. "Zara, come here." It was Mrs. Talon, the teacher. Zara stood up, confused. Mrs. Talon never called her over unless there was something important. When Zara reached the teacher, she saw a group of older students whispering in the corner, glancing over at her. One of them, a tall girl named Lyra, spoke up. "We know who your father is, Zara." Zara's stomach dropped. She felt a chill run through her. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice trembling. Lyra smiled cruelly. "We know he's not like us. We know he's a human." Zara froze. Her secret was out. She had tried so hard to hide the truth, but now it was everywhere. The other students stared at her, some whispering, others looking shocked. Mrs. Talon stepped forward, her voice gentle but firm. "Zara, it's important that we talk. You don't need to be ashamed of your father. You don't need to hide who you are." But Zara wasn't sure what to feel. The shock of the truth was too much. She had always feared this moment, but now that it had come, it felt different, like a weight had been lifted off her chest. "Everyone already knows?" Zara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Lyra nodded, her face twisted with smugness. "Yes. And now we know why you're so strange. You're part human." Zara's heart raced. The words hurt more than she expected. For a moment, she wanted to run away. But deep inside, something else stirred. Maybe, just maybe, this was the moment for everything to change. The next few days were hard for Zara. She could feel the eyes of the other students on her every time she walked through the hallways. Some stared with curiosity, others with judgment. It was like everyone was waiting for her to prove herself, to show who she really was. Zara kept her head down, trying to ignore the whispers. The weight of her father's secret, now out in the open, felt heavy on her shoulders. She had never felt so exposed. But something had changed inside her. She was no longer the scared, lonely girl she used to be. She wasn't just an outsider anymore, she was something more. One day, after class, Zara was walking to her locker when she heard someone calling her name. It was Lyra, the girl who had exposed her secret. Zara expected more teasing, but instead, Lyra looked at her with a strange expression. "You know," Lyra said, "I was wrong about you." Zara stopped, surprised. "What do you mean?" Lyra took a deep breath. "I used to think humans were weak, but maybe I was wrong. You've been through a lot, and you're still standing. I respect that." Zara's heart raced. She had never expected this kind of apology, especially not from Lyra. but something in her changed. She realized that it wasn't just about her father being human. It was about who she was as a person. She was strong. She didn't need to hide anymore. I'm not perfect, Zara said softly, but I'm proud of who I am. And I'm not going to hide anymore. From that moment on, Zara walked with her head held high. The other students began to see her differently. Some came to apologize, others just nodded in respect. The bullying slowly stopped, and Zara started to make real friends. She wasn't just a girl with a human father anymore. She was Zara, strong and unafraid.